Greetings to all my dear students. So as in the last video lecture we had discussed the use or the difference between the use of could and could have. So today we'll move on with the other models. Okay, but before moving on, immediately after this slide you will see this small exercise. You can solve this exercise out in your fair copies. Okay, and in case of any problems we can discuss this up in the upcoming classes. Okay, moving on with the other models of necessity and compulsion: must, have to, have got to, had to, and had got to. These are the models which are used for necessity or compulsion. Now let us see where they are used. We use have to and must to say it is necessary to do something. Sometimes we can use either of them. Meaning, when we are talking about something which is extremely necessary, we will use must or have to. We can use either of them. At times we can use either of them. Either we can use must or we can use have. To make it much more easy for you to understand, whenever we are talking about rules and regulations, remember we will use must. Okay, apart from rules and regulations, if there is something which is extremely compulsory to do, we will use must or have to. Example: you must study sincerely if you want to score good marks. This is a necessity, this is a compulsion. This is a necessity, this is a compulsion. Okay, you have to study sincerely if you want to do well. Again, you have to study sincerely. Again, this is a necessity or a compulsion. Okay, because without studying sincerely, naturally you won't be able to do well in your exams. Okay, so therefore for rules and regulations we will use, I would repeat, for rules and regulations or for things which are extremely necessary or compulsory to do, we will use must or have to. Okay, moving on. Have to is used to suggest some kind of compulsion, or there is some rule which has to be followed or the situation requires it. Example: you must spend time with your children. I want you to do that. We have to sign this register when we enter the building. That's the rule. I can't jog for long. I have to take a break. The situation demands it that I can take a break. Now there are three different things. You must spend time with your children. Again, this is an important thing and I want you to do it. Okay, you have to sign the register when you enter the building. That is a rule. We can also say we must sign the register when we enter the building. That is again a rule. So both can be used either ways. Okay, and then if for a particular situation I can't jog for long, I have to take a break. Now if we are talking about a particular situation, in that case we will use have to. Over here we are talking about a particular situation. I can't jog for long. We are actually talking about a situation. We are actually talking about jogging. And what are we talking? That I cannot jog for long. So therefore I need to take a break. So therefore for a particular situation we are using have to over here. Okay, moving on. Must doesn't have a past tense form. So we use must to talk about the present or the future. This is important. Must does not have a past tense form. So we use must for the present or the future tense. In questions and negative sentences with have to, we normally use do, does, did. Okay, now do you have to work till late every day? We often use have to, but we can also use have got to instead of have to. We have got to complete the project by next week. So we can use have to or have got to. Have got to. Okay, in case of we can either ways. We can use these two either ways. Okay, now. So for questions, we will always use, or we normally use do, does, or did, depending on the type of the question we are raising. Okay, and remember, this is a very important note out here. Must has no past tense form. Okay, don't have to. You don't have to give any money to the beggar. There is no need to give money to the beggar, but if you want, you can. Okay, now don't have to. Now over here, don't have to. It's not a compulsion, neither it is a rule. Not a rule. So in case of, or I would rather say, when you are actually suggesting someone not to do a particular thing, but the ultimate decision lies in their hand, that means we will use don't have to. Okay, where we are just suggesting someone something. Like over here we are suggesting that you should not give money to the beggar. Okay, because it is not a rule. It is neither it is a compulsion. But if you want, you can. It is completely up to you. If you want, you can give money to the beggar. If you don't want, you cannot. Okay, so therefore don't have to is used when there is no compulsion. Okay, when we are not talking about any compulsion, when we are talking about options. Okay, you don't have to pay the electricity bill offline, you can pay it online. Now again, when I say you don't have to pay the electricity bill online, again I'm not saying that it is a rule that you cannot pay it offline, but it's just an option. It is completely your call. Okay, next is should have. Should have done means that it was the right thing to be done but wasn't done. So whenever we are talking about something that seemed right but wasn't done, we will use should have. Parul should have informed the teacher that she had not completed her assignment. Now this informing was the right thing to be done, but she did not informed. Okay, so again the use is written right in front of it, means that it was the right thing to be done but it wasn't done. Okay, you should have completed your English work by today, but you did not. Okay, so again, now over here exercises, you can solve these exercises out and we'll discuss them in the class, in the live class. Again, ought to conveys that it would be right thing to do with a greater sense of responsibility and as a moral duty. Now whenever we are talking about a moral duty means our responsibility towards our parents, towards our grandparents, towards the environment, towards the society. That is the meaning of the moral duty. Now ought to is used in case of moral duty. You ought to plant trees every year. Okay, means this is just your responsibility or your moral duty. It's not a rule, neither is it a compulsion. You ought to look after your grandparents. The example is out here. This is your responsibility. This is not a rule. This is your responsibility. This is your moral sense of duty. You ought to keep your surroundings clean. Again, this is a responsibility, your moral duty. This is not a compulsion. So ought to, remember, is used for a responsibility or for a moral duty. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. Now absence of necessity, need not have, didn't have. Read the following sentences. You need not have bought a new car. You have bought your car, but actually there was no need to bring it. She didn't need to bring her car. She didn't bring her car because she thought that there was no need to bring it. Now absence of necessity, wherever the things are not necessary, we're going to use need not have or didn't have. Okay, examples are here. You need not have bought your car means although you have bought your car, but there was no necessity of bringing your car. Okay, over here she didn't need to bring her car. She didn't bring her car because she thought that there was no need to bring her car. So whenever there is absence of necessity, you're going to use needn't have or didn't have. Okay, in case of absence of necessity. Wish and may. Okay, wish, for wishing you will always use may you have a very bright future, may God bless you. So whenever you are wishing someone something, you will always use may. Okay, example is over here, may you be blessed with good health. So that means we are wishing someone good health, so we will always use may in that case. Now dare means not to be afraid to do something that requires courage. It is mostly used in negative sentences and in questions. I dare not go into the dense forest at night. I dare not challenge the boxer to fight with me. So something that requires courage. Okay, not to be means not to be afraid to do something that requires courage. It is mostly used in negative sentences. So dare is mostly used in negative sentences or questions. Okay. Okay, now could is also used to make suggestions. Okay, over here, but basically we will use should to make suggestions. Now could can be used, but we all will prefer should instead of could. Okay, this was it. So the entire topic or the entire chapter of models has been covered. You go through the video, go through both the videos, and if you come across any problems, please bring up your problems in the online classes. Okay, and do not forget to solve the exercises which are there in the middle of the slideshow. Okay, those will help you out in perfecting yourself. Till then, we'll meet again in the next video. Till then, stay safe.